we're going to bring on another incredible permaculturalist. Dr. Heidi Wichmann has been doing this for decades. Dr. Heidi, I'm so excited that we've met, that we are collaborating to create a new and beautiful world together.
You're welcome. My name is Heidi Wichmann. I'm a neurobiologist specialized in marine natural products and their potential to prevent and treat neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer, Parkinson, or multiple sclerosis. And today I'd like to show you the science behind food, and not only that, but how food forests contribute to the drug design by nature. So, yeah. It's basically the science behind let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food, like Hippocrates said. The medicinal use of natural products has a long tradition in humankind. Basically, we evolved together, hand in hand. And it's thought to be as thousands of years old. So the oldest text that could be found was 2600 BC in Old Mesopotamia, where they could medicinal use of plants on clay tablets. It was written on clay tablets. And throughout our evolution, the importance of natural products for medicine and health has always been enormous. So our earliest ancestors used certain herbs and to treat diseases and injuries which are old as humankind actually is. So as I said, throughout our evolution, the importance of natural products for medicines and health has been enormous. Owing these diverse biological activities, the medicinal potential of natural products is almost in every civilization written down to some kind, whether it's clay tablets, papyrus rolls in Egypt, whatever. So many knowledge is lost, of course, especially where I'm from, in Germany, there's almost nothing. But other countries still got this old knowledge, and that is a study field or a research field that exists, that is natural products, the science behind natural products. And it's somehow suppressed, of course, because when people understand that the real source of medicine is actually a plant or a microbe, or even in some rare cases, an animal, what would that do to big pharma, right? And these old texts from Mesopotamia, from 2500 BC, included the cedar species or even other things like the myrrh, so the medical use of that. And in Egypt, aloe vera and frankincense and castor were mentioned, so things we use today. The famous Greek physician Hippocrates from Kos collected more than 400 natural agents in his Corpus Hippocraticum, so he described it in that. And he mentioned, for instance, melon juice as a laxative, or Atropa belladonna as an anesthetic, or how to use olive oil to improve wound healing. And it's an old knowledge. It's historically very, very good documented. And before Corona, over 60% of our drugs we get on the pharma store or wherever, where a physicist describes you for treating your pain, your infection, or whatever, got their origin from natural products. Here we can see an example for terrestrial plants. I chose aspirin because everybody knows it. So the aspirin discovery starts in the 18th century, where willow and its extracts were used to relieve different types of pain. And this century, at least, was characterized by advancement in the organic chemistry and particularly of pharmaceuticals. So from natural products to organic chemistry to pharmaceuticals. Mostly it was focused on marine sponges, yeah, which produce also a lot of secondary metabolites, these natural products we're talking about. But yeah, there are so many more, and Big Pharma knows that. Yeah, but as I said, we used to rebuild them by petrochemicals or gene-modified organisms. So that has not much to do with its original natural source. That has to be clear, and it's always about single compounds. Yeah, until today, several medical organizations approved marine natural products or marine natural product-based drugs, better to say that way, and including clinical trials. So it's important for me just to see that the drugs we are using have their origin in nature, and it's not a new field of research. No, it's one of the oldest fields of research, which is medicine, natural medicine. A relatively new research field is the nutritional psychiatry. So it's about the association between nutrition and mental health. But it's, as I said, a very young research field, so that the underlying mechanisms are not well understood. It's basically described by the synthesis of neurotransmitters. So these little molecules we also use in our body. Without them, nothing will work. But we can also find them in nature. For instance, seaweed, certain species are producing them to communicate through the sea with other algae of the same kind or even different ones, and also with microorganisms. I'm quite sure about that. There's not much research about that, but we have so much in common, and this is how it is explained, at least. So the effects, and it's about the influence of food, or food supplements as treatments for mental health disorders, and to integrate dietary approaches into mental health treatment, basically focusing on the mood, also the impact of a diet on mood, behavior, and also brain function. Because, of course, our body can work as properly as the quality of the building blocks we consume, is, at least. You have to have a huge variety of as natural as possible building blocks for our body via food, because that's what our bodies are used to know, since thousands of years. By the way, it was also described that Neanderthals also had some knowledge about the medical use of plants, although it was thought, or is thought right now, that they basically consumed meat. But that's another story. And the diets of mental health do also integrate a range of other complementary holistic approaches. Exercise, forest bathing, so going into the forest, Shinrin-yoku, maybe you heard about that, I'm pretty sure. So the secondary metabolites, these natural products, can also be found in the air when we inhale them. It could be shown by Japanese scientists that it's very beneficial for our health, specifically for immune system. And the more ancient the forest was, the longer the effects last. But that's another topic. Altogether, it's, I think, absolutely clear for all of us that the quality of a food has a huge impact on our health, our mood, and even our behavior. And but it's not only that. So that's why food forests are so important. It's the best for our body if we get the most ancient form of plant, I would say, in the most cases, not in every, but in the most cases, because there's such a huge variety of nutrients and secondary metabolites with natural products, and all the other things we don't think about, like microbes we take via food. They go into our gut, and into the gut microbiome, that it's influenced by our food, and also the microbes we are taking into. That's not new science, that's at least old knowledge. Yeah, but that is very important to consider. And food forests are the closest to this. So on the one hand, we can choose the trees we prefer to have in our garden, in our forest garden. And on the other hand, we let nature choose what can thrive there. And that has a much higher nutrient density. The one thing is the soil, of course, but on the other hand, when we don't have to take too much care about a plant, they have to develop survival mechanisms, whether it's harmful pesticides on the one hand, but also on the other hand, natural predators or a drought or microbes. Yeah. So they have to adapt. Nature wants to live. So yeah, that's basically the thing. Yeah. Oh, it's always ongoing. Even after a big disaster, the microbes and all of it is still there, and they are starting to do their work. So that means building life. Yeah. And then plants will follow, the hardest one, depending on how the soil is and all of these things. But I don't have to go too much in detail of that. But yeah, as we can see, this it's all together. Yeah, we need to see the whole picture. And when we think about our biggest threat or health threat worldwide is this depression, I would say, at the moment, besides some other things, of course, but that always includes some kind of depression because the most people are not happy when they're very sick. And it could be found out that there are antidepressant microbes in soil, that dirt makes us happy, probably. They did some research within mice, but these were very, very interesting because it was about a soil microbe, Mycobacterium vaccae. We mostly know it because of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, so only the disease building, supporting microbes are mentioned in our world, but the soil also contains microbes from the same family who obviously might have an influence on a neurotransmitter system like serotonin. Yeah, in the mice, this microbe causes the cytokine levels to rise, which then led to the higher production of the messenger or the neurotransmitter serotonin, and which is basically also very important. So what they could find out in cancer patients is that when they work in the garden, they had a much higher stress resilience, they were happier, and subsequently in the mice, they could show the effect of this microbe. Of course, there's only this one single microbe being used, not the complexity of life or nature, but it shows that, yeah, microbes are so much more important than we think. And it's the way it is. Let your children play in the dirt. That's the best immunization. Obviously, not only for your immune system. So, in this context, food forests can be beneficial for our health, obviously, if we let them grow. But it's not only the nutrients, and that explains that our health is interconnected with, for instance, the healthier soil, but it's not only that. Due to the loss of the big animals, especially the big animals in the sea, the nutrient cycle is not as optimal as it used to be. So it's not only the big animals, it's also every kind of animal. So their poo, in the case of whales, they are talking about poo namis. Due to the decrease of whales, there's less fertilization of the ocean water in certain areas where phytoplankton feeds on, which is at least the basis of a food chain, also for the whales. Yeah, so this is a cycle, an intelligent cycle that we have disrupted, especially due to the loss of the big whales. But we can also intervene here positively by considering, for instance, macroalgae as a fertilizer for our gardens. Yeah, so it's a variety of nutrients and microbes and whatever we bring in into our soil. It's also in the air, of course, to help the nutrient cycle, which is basically the most important thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Heidi.